Okay, so moving on to part two. We finished Grendel, and just to recap, Grendel has managed to kill basically everybody he ever comes in contact. He does not kill Hrothgar, and he does not touch Hrothgar's throne because both of those have been chosen by God. So Hrothgar is a loser of a king, can't do what he needs to do, can't take care of his own home. So what is he going to do? It's been 12 years, and he's having to share his hall at night with a monster. And then in the daytime, he's ruling over no one because nobody wants to live there anymore for some strange reason. In comes Beowulf. So the living sorrow of Healfdane's son, and Healfdane's son is Hrothgar, simmered, bitter and fresh, and no wisdom or strength could break it. That agony hung on king and people alike, harsh and unending, violent and cruel and evil. In his far-off home, Beowulf, Hygelac's follower and the strongest of the Geats, greater and stronger than anyone anywhere in this world, heard how Grendel filled nights with horror and quickly commanded a boat, fitted out, proclaiming that he'd go to that famous king, would sail across the sea to Hrothgar, now when help was needed. So remember, Beowulf is an epic hero, and this is a quest, and it is a challenge that will make him even more awesome than he already is. None of the wise ones regretted his going. Much as he was loved by the Geats, the omens were good, and they urged the adventure on. So Beowulf chose the mightiest men he could find, the bravest and best of the Geats, 14 in all, and led them down to their boat. He knew the sea would point the prow straight to that distant Danish shore. So what you need to know about this is the fact that Beowulf is fully aware that he's amazing. He knows it. Everybody else knows it. You might as well not fight it. Beowulf and his men sail over the sea to the land of the Danes to offer help to Hrothgar. They are escorted by a Danish guard to Heorot, where Wulfgar, one of Hrothgar's soldiers, tells the king of their arrival. Hrothgar knows of Beowulf and is ready to welcome the young prince and his men. Now that is a statement that's extremely important to understand because this is 500 AD. So there aren't televisions, there aren't computers, but yet even though this journey took him so long to get there, Hrothgar already knew who Beowulf was. That is how amazing Beowulf already is, even as a young man. Then Wulfgar went to the door and addressed the waiting seafarers with soldiers' words. My lord, the great king of the Danes commands me to tell you that he knows of your noble birth, and that having come to him from over the open sea, you have come bravely and are welcome. Now go to him as you are, in your armor and helmets, but leave your battle shields here, and your spears. Let them lie waiting for the promises your words may make. Now, that is huge. They allow Beowulf and his men to go into the hall where the king is, still fully armed. Whoa. Beowulf arose with his men around him, ordering a few to remain with their weapons, leading the others quickly along under Heorot's steep roof into Hrothgar's presence. Standing on that prince's own hearth, helmeted, the silvery metal of his mail shirt gleaming with a smith's high art, he greeted the Danes' great lord. Dude knows he's awesome. I mean, that's really all it comes down to. Hail, Hrothgar! Hygelac is my cousin and my king. The days of my youth have been filled with glory. Now Grendel's name is echoed in our land. Sailors have brought us stories of Heorot, the best of all mead halls, deserted and useless when the moon hangs in the skies the sun had lit, light and life fleeing together. My people have said, the wisest, most knowing, and best of them, that my duty was to go to the Danes' great king. They have seen my strength for themselves, have watched me rise from the darkness of war, dripping with my enemy's blood. I drove 5 great giants into chains, chased all of that race from the earth. I swam in the blackness of night, hunting monsters out of the ocean and killing them one by one. Death was my errand and the fate they had earned. Now Grendel and I are called together, and I've come. All right, so far you really get the whole boasting mentality. Beowulf knows that he is amazing. And he also knows that no one can contest that. So the boasting is just an added thing to the reader so that we understand what is it that makes Beowulf different from everybody else? What makes him the epic hero in comparison to everyone else in the story? Grant me then, Lord and protector of this noble place, a single request. I have come so far, O shelter of warriors and your people's loved friend, that this one favor you should not refuse me, that I alone, and with the help of my men, may purge all evil from this hall. I have heard too that the monster's scorn of men is so great that he needs no weapons and fears none. Nor will I. So he found out that Grendel fights barehanded. So Beowulf was like, well, dude, if Grendel doesn't use weapons, neither will I. Because I'm Beowulf. My lord Hygelac might think less of me if I let my sword go where my feet were afraid to. If I hid behind some broad linden shield, my hands alone shall fight for me. Struggle for life against the monster. God must decide who will be given to death's cold grip. Grendel's plan, I think, will be what it has been before, to invade this hall and gorge his belly with our bodies, if he can. If he can. And I think, if my time will have come, there will be nothing to mourn over, no corpse to prepare for its grave. Grendel will carry our bloody flesh to the moors, crunch on our bones, and smear torn scraps of our skin on the walls of his den. Okay. So Beowulf was like, well, and if fate has it that I should die today, I would imagine there's not going to be anything left of my body for you to have to worry about, because Grendel's going to take it back. He's going to eat it, crunch on our bones, and then he's going to use our skin for wallpaper. Loose translation, Miss Goodwin style. No, I expect no Danes will fret about sewing our shrouds if he wins. And if death does take me, send the hammered mail of my armor to Hygelac, return the inheritance I had from Hrethel, and he from Wayland. Fate will unwind, as it must. Hrothgar replied, protector of the Danes, Beowulf, you come to us in friendship, and because of the reception your father found at our court. Edgeoth had begun a bitter feud, killing Haleth, a wolfling warrior. Your father's countrymen were afraid of war. If he returned to his home, and they turned him away. Then he traveled across the curving ways to the land of the Danes. I was new to the throne. Then a young man ruling this wide kingdom in its golden city. Haregar, my older brother, a far better man than I, had died, and dying made me second among Healfdane's sons, first in this nation. I bought the end of Edgeoth's quarrel, sent ancient treasures through the ocean's furrows to the Wolfings. Your father swore he'd keep that peace. My tongue grows heavy, and my heart, when I try to tell you what Grendel has brought us, the damage he's done here in this hall. You see for yourself how much smaller our ranks have become, and can guess what we've lost to his terror. Surely the Lord Almighty could stop this madness, smother his lust. How many times have my men, glowing with courage, drawn from too many cups of ale, sworn to stay after dark, and stem that horror with a sweep of their swords. And then in the morning, this mead hall glittering with new light would be drenched with blood, the benches stained red, the floors all wet from that fiend's savage assault, and my soldiers would be fewer still, death taking more and more. But to table, Beowulf, a banquet in your honor. Let us toast your victories and talk of the future. Now, Hrothgar just delivered a really long speech, but inside of that speech, it shows the honor that Hrothgar wants for his kingdom, and he honestly just doesn't know what to do now. He wishes he had the answer, but he doesn't. And so even though he has failed as a king, there's still that desire to be honoring and to be honored. Then Hrothgar's men gave places to the Geats, yielded benches to the brave visitors, and led them to the feast. The keeper of the mead came carrying out the carved flasks and poured that bright sweetness. A poet sang from time to time in a clear, pure voice. Danes and visiting Geats, celebrated as one, drank and rejoiced.